What's up guys, Kent here with Coresby Gaming. This video is going to be a champion showcase on Drexthar Blood Twin and some of the things he can do. So I'll go over his kit, gearing him, and masteries, as well as some of the areas in the game that I use him. So this is a legendary champion that is available to everyone as a fragment summon. You can get fragments for him in the Tag Team Arena Bazaar. He does take a while to get, but he is well worth it as he is very good in a few areas in the game, but usable in almost everywhere.
Alright, so I got my Drexthar recently. Here's a card to my shard opening video where I got him if you want to check that out. Since I got him recently, I don't have him completely maxed out yet, but I do have him strong enough to be able to show you what he's capable of, so let's quickly go over his skills. Alright, so his A1 attacks one enemy 3 times, has a 30% chance of placing an HP burn for 2 turns, heals this champion by 20% of the damage inflicted if the target is under an HP debuff. And then his A2 attacks all enemies, 40% chance of a provoke for 1 turn. This chance increases to 100% if the target is under an HP burn debuff. Also places a 50% decrease attack debuff for 2 turns if the provoke is placed, which is pretty good to get an AoE provoke. And then his passive has a 55% chance of placing HP burn debuff for 2 turns on the attacker when hit. This champion's resistance increases by 10 for every enemy under an HP burn debuff, stacks up to 50. So, as you can imagine, there are HP burns going off all the time when Drexthar is in a battle. So his trump card here is his aura. So he has an increased ally accuracy in all battles by 70. So that makes this guy really flexible and you can use him almost anywhere in the game. Alright, so jumping over to the artifacts that I have him in. So before gearing any champion, you always want to consider where am I using this guy. So for me, in using Drexthar, the number 1 area that I used him was Faction Wars. And for my Faction Wars team, I needed some extra damage, so I kind of built him out to be able to deal a little bit more damage. So I geared him a little differently than most people probably would for other areas. He's also really good in Clan Boss, the Frost Spider in the Doom Tower, and Spider's Den in general. So those areas are usually how you gear him, so I don't have him geared 100% to those areas, but he can still be used in those areas, so let's go over what I got him in. So for the gloves, I have him in crit rate gloves since I wanted to be able to do some extra damage. And then for the chest piece, got him in accuracy chest piece, that way those HP burns land. I have him in speed boots just because to compete in some of those areas he does have to be pretty fast. For the weapon, got some speed rolls and crit damage. For the helmet, damage and defense, and then for the shield, a triple defense roll. So Drexthar is a defense champion, so all of his damage moves scale off of defense, so you want to have him pretty sturdy. For the ring, got him in a defense ring. For the amulet, got a crit damage amulet, and then for the banner, accuracy banner. So his total stats are not quite where I would recommend them to be for certain areas of the game, but his health is just over 40,000, attack is irrelevant, the defense got him up to 3,500. Depending on where you're using him, like spiders, you really want that closer to like 4,000, but I'm not using those spiders, so I didn't bother too much with that. Speed 173, which is okay. I usually use speed aura champion, so that kind of makes up for speeds being a little bit lower. His crit rate almost 100, crit damage 162, not bad. And then his accuracy really high, 153. I do use him against the Frost Spider in the Doom Tower, which the accuracy needed for that is 330, so I did build his defense out really high. Oh, correction, I did build his accuracy really high. Alright, and then on to his masteries. Like I said, I don't have him maxed out, but I did have him enough to where it makes a difference. So I went with offense. Like I said, I wanted to be able to deal more damage, so I got him the extra crit rate, a little bit extra crit damage. As I continue to build him out, I'll go with Life Drinker, bring it down, Methodical, and then finish him off with War Master. Those are going to be the best ones for dealing some extra damage to bosses and that stuff. And then I have him on the support tree as well. A little bit extra accuracy, a little bit more accuracy. I'll go with Arcane Celerity. Probably go with Evil Eye, Lore of Steel, and then Sniper probably. Either that or Master Hexer. Either of those would be good options. You definitely do not have to build him out this way. You could definitely go down the defensive tree there. There's a lot of good abilities that would work well with him. But once again, like I said, I'm trying to get him to deal some damage just because that is what I needed for Faction Wars. And as far as how I would grade this champion, I would probably give him like a B+. There's a few areas where he's like exceptional in, like Spider's Den and the Doom Tower Frostbiter. He is like A tier for those two areas. He's also really good in the Clan Boss, Faction Wars, but honestly, with that accuracy aura, it makes him usable in every single area of the game, just because you can then build your other champions at a lower accuracy and just bring this guy in, and can really cover up a lot of gaps in their gear if they aren't having the accuracy numbers that they really need. Alrighty, so now I'll show you where I used Drexthar, and the number one area for me was Faction Wars and getting some extra damage. He fit that bill perfectly for me. As you can see here, I was able to complete the Demon Spawn faction with him being the primary damage dealer. He dealt almost 2 million damage, which was over 3 times the amount of the other champs, and that could have been even more if he had more masteries. Of course, these other champs are not damage dealers and aren't a very good comparison for damage output, but regardless, he got the job done. The next area that I used Drexthar was the Frost Spider in the Doom Tower. A mechanic of the Frost Spider is that it must have an HP burn debuff on it when it's killed, otherwise it will revive itself. Well, Drexthar works perfectly here, as he is one of the best champs at consistently getting out HP burn debuffs. I'm able to handle the Frost Spider fairly easily with this team, and what's really funny is that Drexthar ends up dealing more damage than my Royal Guard, who I brought in specifically to deal damage. The last area I'll show where I use Drexthar is Spider's Den 20. So the strategy in using him here is as a tank. Since he is the negative affinity, the Spiderlings will target him and become burnt by his passive ability when hitting him. Now, I don't have him geared to do this as well as he is capable of, but he gets the job done for me. For this role, I would have geared him with more HP, defense, as well as enough resistance to resist the poisons. This would be pretty easy to do if I had scaled back and replaced his damage. Alrighty guys, so that is going to conclude my champion showcase of Drexthar Blood Twin. Overall, he's a really good champ with multiple areas he's great in. If you don't have him yet, start saving up those fragments for him in the bazaar. I'm an endgame player with over 30 legendaries and I use him, so more than likely he'll help you out too. Thanks for watching guys, hope you have a good one, I'll catch you next time.